I have to bend up this tab over here. And let me take off the second hand. I don't want to bend it. Okay, now you can see the positioning of all the gears in here. This is a metal, sort of a brace or a shield, I don't know. I've seen them before. I can remove this, I think, by just popping it off here. Sort of like that. Now you can see all the gears on the inside, and this is where I'll take a few photos of it so I know the positioning of everything before I proceed to take this apart. So let me work on that. Okay, I'm ready to start taking it apart. I'll remove the rotor again first. Okay, now I want to remove this plate, which will give me access to the gears that are in here. And I think these are smaller. That's the one. Quite tight. That one is not budging. There we go. Okay. First, remove this little bar here. Okay, there you have it. What I'm going to do next is start taking some photos of this, and I'll remove it, each gear one at a time, so I have a good record of exactly how they fit. Let me just place this in here. So let me work on that. Okay, I'll show how these come apart now. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the start knob, and I just dropped it, but there's a small spring fits here. So gotta be careful not to lose that. And I can't remove this yet until I remove the start knob. So let me do that. It's pretty tight, but it's a friction grip type of a thing. Okay. And now this should slide out. So there's definitely a lot of oil built up on here. as well as on these gears. They're pretty dirty. So I'm going to place all of these in some hot soapy water in my ultrasonic, clean up all these parts, clean the plate as well. These gears are pretty much riveted in place, so I'll soak this in the oh, this one comes off. Very good. My mistake. This one also. Great. That makes it much easier to clean now. So let me get to work on that. All the parts have been cleaned. What I want to do next is lubricate everything and then reposition them. To do the oiling, what I use is a synthetic clock oil, and the technique is put a little bit in this well, and I have what they call oil pins, which are, I think, mostly made to be used on clocks such as anniversary clocks and wind-up clocks. But you just dip it in the oil and apply a very little bit on the ends of the gears, on the pivots, because over-oiling is as bad as not using enough. And then also place the oil in the holes in the plate. As far as putting these back together, if I recall, this goes there. I believe that this will go here. And this plate will go on top of this. That goes here. And then this will go on top. So what I'm going to do is just finish lubricating, placing the oil everywhere it needs to be. And then I'll set this back up, secure it with the 4 nuts, and then we'll be able to proceed from there. But if you were paying attention, you're aware of the fact that what I forgot is to place the spring back on the start knob here. Nothing like putting something all the way back together only to discover that you forgot to do a part. Anyway, let me get back to work on it. Everything's back together and lubricated. What I want to do next, put the rotor back in. And then I have to reposition the start knob. Okay. And the next thing I want to do before putting this gasket and this brace back on, I'm not really thrilled with this tape job on the wire here. Although this is a very old power cord, I don't believe that this is original, and I want to remove the tape, make sure that the connection is good, probably retape it up or use wire nuts. I'll figure out once I see what's doing under here. So let me work on that now. I've removed the first piece of tape and find that they're individually wrapped, and this looks pretty secure to me. So I'm just going to rewrap it with some more modern electrical tape, and I think I'll be good to go with that. I've rewrapped the wire. Next, I'm going to put this back on. And this little cardboard shield. Okay, what I want to do next, although it looks pretty clean, I'm going to clean up the dial a little bit, probably the hands. I want to paint the back plate, and then I'll turn my attention to what I can do to restore as the Bakelite case. Okay, what I've done is I've painted the back plate and cleaned up the hands. And what I want to do next is place the dial back onto the clock. And this has a couple little tabs that lock in here. Okay. And first the hour hand pointing at 12. And then the minute hand, also at 12. And then I have to put on the little lock nut that fits over it. That's not the right one. Here it is. And then the second hand. Okay, put this aside. I'm going to start to work on the case. I'll have to clean up the glass. And unfortunately, I see a little bit of a chip in it. Nothing I can do about that. But one unusual thing or interesting thing I discovered when I removed this plate that was on the back of the dial, I really couldn't understand why there was no writing on it. Usually you see information as to who made the clock, the model number, or what kind of current it takes, all that kind of information. The only thing I saw on it was the imprint of some numbers. I don't know if you can see it here, right there. And when I discovered, when I took it out just a little bit ago and turned it over, here's all your information. And this information plate looks almost like it's in mint condition, as if it was just made. I have no idea how many years it was backwards, but as a result, it looks really good. Typically, with clocks this old, this is badly scraped. Sometimes you can hardly read it at all. It's unfortunate that this case has a bit of a chip over here. Otherwise, I think I could do a really good restoration of the whole thing. Anyway, I'm going to clean up the glass, and then we'll talk about how best to clean up the Bakelite. Okay, I've cleaned up the glass, and one problem that I've had with Bakelite cases is that when it's new, it has a nice shine to it. But once it gets quite old, it gets dull, and it's very hard to clean and polish it up to how it previously looked. I've tried using hot soapy water, alcohol, fantastic, and none of those things really did anything to restore a nice finish to it, a nice shine. But I had an old Bakelite case that I was trying to figure out a good way to clean, and I came up with the idea of spraying it with polyurethane. And this was the case that I experimented on. Initially, you can see just how dull the finish is on this. But when I hit it with the polyurethane, it came out looking like that. A really nice shine. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. I'll clean it up with some hot soapy water, get off the surface dirt, and then give it a few coats of polyurethane, and we'll see how it comes out. So I'll work on that, and then we'll continue. I've completed the work on the case, and I think it came out looking good. So the next step is get the clock back into it. First, we'll put the glass in. And next, what I have to do, I have to remove the set knob and the start knob. Okay. Then before putting this in here, I want to attach the back plate. Okay, and the information plate will go over this. Along with these two nuts. Now I can put the start knob back on and the set knob. Oh. Come on. Oh, that's being a little stubborn. There we go. Just have to tighten it up so I can turn it either way without it coming loose. Okay. Let's tuck that wire in here a little better. Okay, I just have to secure it with the 4 screws, and then I'll be ready to set it up on my table and make sure that it's still working. I have it plugged in. Let me give the start knob a spin. And it's running. So there you have it. It's the Hammond Logan. It's from the 1930s, which makes it close to, if not over, 90 years old. I would call it a desk clock, and I'm pretty pleased with how this one came out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments or questions, they're always welcome. And that pretty much wraps things up. Bye for now.